All right, Anabolic Academy, Serious and Silliness bodybuilding. I tell you, the weeks just keep on going. Before you know it, it's another Monday night, and I'm recording another Anabolic Academy and putting it up for Tuesday morning. It's unbelievable how fast it goes. I think the Arnold is in 2 weeks, and then we got the 2025 season starting. Wow. Anyway, just did a live with Lee Priest. Please go watch it. We talked about Sam Sulik winning his first NPC show and our thoughts are behind it. We talked about a whole bunch of other shit too. But great show. So if you are just tuning in and you don't know about Serious and Silliness and Anabolic Academy, this is the portion of my show where you send me questions and I answer them about bodybuilding, fitness, or if you just want to ask me anything at all, it's fine with me. How can you reach me? You can reach me by my email, UncleJohn1201 at Gmail, John_Livia at Yahoo, uh, Serious and Silliness on Instagram, Facebook, John Livia, TikTok, John Livia, or if you see me in person, like at the gym or at the supermarket, I don't go to the supermarket. My wife does. If you see me at the gym, or if you see me out somewhere and you want to ask me the damn question, I'll answer it for you in person and I'll answer it on here. Okay? Just something that I do. Sometimes somebody asks me a good question, I throw it on here. That's why I'm saying that. Anyway, so we actually got a really good questions, like really informative questions today. So the first question comes from Kali_baby. What's your opinion on the Dorian Yates hit? Okay, hit Dorian Yates hit technique. That's basically high intensity training. All right. Um, if you got into bodybuilding after 1990, that's pretty much the style that you're going to train with. Okay, so let me kind of break it down. During the 70s and into the early 80s, guys would train at the gym for hours upon hours. Guys like Schwarzenegger and Franco Columbo and Frank Zane and they'd be at the gym for 3, 4, 5 hours training, training, training. This is how they thought it should work. Then somebody comes along named Mike Menser and says you don't have to do that. You don't have to train for hours and hours and hours to get the results that you want. What you want to do is train for a short period of time, train as hard as you can, and the rest is what is going to build muscle. The rest and the nutrition you give yourself is what's going to build muscle. Dorian Yates took that science and he perfected it to the point where he basically hurt himself. He used to train so hard within the hour, hour and a half that he would train. So those two basically, I believe there was one other person, but I don't remember. They basically changed the way we would train, we would bodybuild. Because now pretty much every bodybuilder trains that way. They go into the gym for an hour to 2 hours, not including cardio, obviously, and they kill their body part once a week for the most part. I mean, there are changes. Some people still have to train something twice a week or whatever. But for the most part, it means get in there, train to failure, train till you drop dead, train till you throw up, train till you pass out. Um, and then the rest, the 7 days rest, 6 or 7 days rest that you give that body part is what makes it grow. And then you do that same body part the next day. So let's take I think Dorian trained 4 days a week, but let's take mine. I do it 5 days a week, okay? I do it 5 days a week. So today I would go in there, I do bis and tries. Okay. And I hit bis and tries to the point where I can't move my arms. And now I'm not going to do that again for another week. But tomorrow I'm going to train chest. And then I'm going to train chest till failure. And then I'm not gonna come back to that next Tuesday. Then I'll take a rest day, right? Wednesday, shoulders. That's what I'm gonna do. Right. And then Thursday, uh back, and then Friday, legs, whatever. But each body part, I'm giving 7 days to rest and recover. Okay. So it's basically what every bodybuilder does today. So what do I think of it? I think it's the best way to grow muscle. If you sleep right, train in that with that attitude, give yourself the nutrition that you need, you should grow muscle. Will you grow muscle like Dorian Yates? No. But you will grow muscle. Whether it's a half inch on your arms or 3 inches on your arms or whatever it is, it will work. You will grow muscle. If you're not, you're doing something wrong. You're either lacking sleep, lacking nutrition, overtraining, undertraining, something's up. Okay. But as far as I'm concerned, that kind of style of training is the best way to train and build muscle. Period. End of story. Okay, next question for Anabolic Academy. Wicked.mind.body.soul. Have you ever tried B12 shots? And if so, what are your thoughts? All right. The majority of B12, all right, people take B12 shots basically for energy. And increases, it helps reproduce red blood cells. The red blood cells carry more oxygen, gives you more energy. Okay. I've taken B12 shots in the past. I never saw any goddamn difference. Okay. But that being said, I also take B vitamins and my red blood cell count is already relatively high. I have to give blood every 3 months to keep it at a reasonable rate, if you will. Okay. So I don't, so it might work for somebody, but a couple of times that I did it, I did nothing. I remember my doctor gave me it several times, and it just was like, yeah, okay, I'll take a B12 shot. Did nothing, nothing. But doesn't mean it doesn't work for the next person. You know, everybody is a little bit different, right? So your all these little things that are proven to work may work differently or not work or overwork or underwork for every individual person. Okay, let's take creatine for example. Creatine is a proven commodity. Creatine is a proven supplement, over the counter supplement that helps grow muscle. Period. There is no there is no arguing. I've taken it a million times. It's done nothing for me. I'd rather take branched chain aminos, or I'd rather take intra aminos, essential amino acids while I'm training. Okay, it's done nothing for me. But everybody's different. There are some people that absolutely love using creatine, and they say it works, and they love it, and it's safe, and it works. Go right ahead. I mean, and this happens. So you got to find out. There are the basic supplements that you take, and then you got to find out what works for you as far as the bodybuilding stuff and the fitness stuff and what your goals are and so on and so forth. Because there are times that, oh yeah, I'm using this, I'm using this, I'm using this. You don't have to, because it's not doing anything. Because your body either produces enough of it or your body doesn't utilize it, whatever the case may be. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying don't try it, don't use it. I'm just saying you're going to have to figure out what works for you. If creatine works for you, great, continue using it. If it doesn't, then don't continue using it. If essential amino acids, intra amino acids work for you, then keep using it. If it doesn't, you're wasting your money. If you'd rather use branch chain, if you'd rather, you know, I could name 1,000 things. I mean, even in the anabolic world, EQ. I must have we used EQ a million times. It's a waste. It'll do nothing, nothing, nothing. And I have friends that love it, absolutely love EQ. Anyway, yeah. So that's B12. Anyway, okay. Next question, I believe, my man. Oh yeah, wicked.mind.body.soul also has a second question. Have you or any other bodybuilders you know use CLA? All right. So CLA is how do you pronounce it? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, conjugated holy shit, I can't speak today. Conjugated linoleic acid. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Whatever, I wrote it down. Most of the time used for weight loss. This was a supplement that was very popular in the early 90s. And I remember as a kid watching they used to have bodybuilding on ESPN. And I remember watching it on ESPN and there was a commercial for CLA and I went and bought it. Man, I do shit. So it's usually used for, in the bodybuilding fitness world, it's used for weight loss. It's not really used much anymore. People aren't really using it anymore. Look, if you want to lose weight, there is what works is cardio, weight training, and dieting. Okay, that's what works. Get your butt on the treadmill after you weight train, and make sure you don't eat crap. Clean up your diet, and you will lose weight. CLA. There are a lot of supplements that kind of go in and out of fashion. And there are very few that stand the test of time, like protein and creatine. They stand the test of time. And CLA is one of those things that were very popular in the 90s, and you really don't kind of see it anymore. They might put in some diet products, but nobody's really going out of their way to buy it individually anymore. I mean, I think it also helps with bone health and stuff like that. Those are other reasons, but for the most part, nah. Not interested. Okay. Now, my man Vigar underscore SELJENES. I'm never gonna figure out how to pronounce your name, Vigar, even though we are friends at this point. Let's see. What is the best and worst fitness advice you ever received? Well, I remember the worst fitness advice I ever received. The worst fitness advice I ever received was to drink beer. I swear to God, this guy in the gym. I kid you, I shit you not. I was in Atlas Gym in Staten Island. I was in high school because I moved to Staten Island when I was about 14. So I was in high school. I had to be, I don't know, 16 or 17. And it was the closest gym to my house. And, we used to go, and there's this guy, and we were bullshitting. And he was telling me, and he was a typical fucking knock around Brooklyn guy. And, you know what you got to do? I fucking hate those guys. Um, And he told me to drink beer. Beer is good because the yeast in the beer helps you build muscle. That was just I was like, okay, whatever. All right. The best workout advice I ever had. That's a rough one because I've had a lot of people teach me a lot of good things along in the years. Really, a lot of good people helped me. Um, I'm trying to think of the best or one that benefited. Um, there was a guy named Dominic Dicchio who we left off on bad terms, but I'm not going to say he didn't give me good advice when we spoke. He basically was telling me that I wasn't training as heavy anymore, and he was telling me at the time I wanted to be a bodybuilder and put weight on. He said you have to train heavy, and you have to cut the reps in half. And I was basically doing a high volume training style, lightweight, lots of sets, lots of reps. And he would told me that's not the end. And this was like, I don't remember. I was in my early 30s, maybe. And he told me that is not the way to build muscle. There's no way. Go back. And I was actually happy that he told me that because that was the way I like to train anyway. Was when heavy and hard and cut the reps in half because I was doing 20, 30 sets. It was ridiculous. It was just fucking ridiculous. Not cut the reps, cut the sets rather. And he was right. He was 100% right. That was one thing. Even though it sounds basic, but it changed the way my body looked and the way my body grew after that. Right? It's like, oh well, you should have known. I know, but I was training a different way at that time. And then him being a friend at the time, he said, that's not good. And I didn't take offense to it. I just actually did it, and it helped a lot. Okay. Um, some other stuff. I mean, I remember the first time somebody told me to make sure I drink enough water, which helped a lot. I remember the first time somebody told me to, make sure I take my multivitamins and multiminerals and my nutrition. There's just been a lot of good advice, a lot of good advice, throughout the years because I ran into a lot of good people. Guy Del Corso, that guy Dominic I just mentioned, Cassie Hornbuckle, Ronnie Brown. Ronnie Brown was Leon Brown's cousin, who was also a bodybuilder. Dave Palumbo, obviously. I could go on and on. Just regular guys in the gym, that knew what that. I remember there was a guy named Nick who helped me learn how to deadlift. I would never deadlift. I was 20 years old, never deadlift, 21 or something like that. I never deadlifted, and he showed me how to deadlift. He's like, yeah, if you really want to grow your back, you're gonna have to start deadlifting and doing rack pulls. I was like, what's a rack pull? He showed me what to do. Anyway, so it's just an accumulation of a lot of good people helping you along the way. Okay. Oh, Tony 156. Oh, this is my nephew. Okay. Ladies, if you are single and not unattractive, because I don't want to set my nephew up with you know, a fatty or an ugly girl because he'll hate me. But if you are not unattractive and you are single, hit up Instagram O Tony Tony 156. That's my nephew. He's single. He's in his early 30s. He's good looking. He's got his own place in Hoboken. And if you know anything about Hoboken, it's very expensive to live there. I don't know what he does for a living. He works in an office. I think he does like a long division for some company, 12 hours a day. I don't know, but he makes a good living doing it. I don't know what the fuck he does. Go hit him up. Hey, listen, It's bro science in a different way. Anyway, all right. So my nephew asked me, negative reps, should they be used as a tool and how often? Yeah, I mean, look, negative reps is that was part of the high intensity training. So I'm glad you actually asked me that because that ties into the Dorian Yates question I got before the high intensity training. Dorian loved negatives. So if guys who don't know what negatives are, it's like, okay, so let's say you're on a bench press. Most people bench, they come down to their chest, they push. Well, um, if you wanted to utilize a negative, you would as you come down very slow and controlled, and you feel that muscle before you push to bench, right? So you'd be coming down very, very slow, contracting the muscle, and then explode. Believe me, it kills your workout. I don't normally do it, but it does help. I would utilize negatives in a some people call it time under tension. You know, I grew up you saying negatives. Okay, time under tension is the same thing. You're doing nice and slow and contracting the actual rep. You know, even when you're squatting up and down. If you have a troubled body part and you need it to grow, I would probably incorporate negatives. Um, it's it's a great way to uh, build muscle because you're really training that muscle till failure. You're destroying that muscle. And then again, you can't come to it for another 7 days if you're going to train like that. But the one thing is, you're not going to be able to push as much weight for as many reps. That's just something that you are going to have to adjust to, But yes, I am definitely a believer in negatives. If I would use it only if there was a body part that was not responding well, because now you got to really push. When a body part doesn't respond well, you really got to. So, like for example, my shoulders, I'll do negatives with shoulders. Okay, and I will do supersets with shoulders. I will do drop sets with shoulders. Because my shoulders just don't respond unless I do that. And even when I do that, they don't respond as much as my chest or my back or my legs or my arms. It's just my shoulders are always my troubled spot. I never had these huge cap shoulders. It is what it is. But good question, man. A good timing because that tied into the other question. Do we have any other questions? EP09, Kenton. Does Derek crack the top tier at the Arnold? Oh, yeah. Derek could win. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, look, I know everybody's saying he's not ready. He's a progress picks, blah, blah, blah. I'm not putting anything, I'm not going to doubt the team of Chris Aceto, and Derek Lunsford. I mean, these two are one guy is former Mr. Olympia a couple of years ago and battling for Mr. Olympia again. He's in his prime. And the other guy is one of the best fucking trainers in the world. So I am not doubting them. The only time I'm going to doubt them is if he comes on stage and looks like shit, which I very, very doubtful that that's going to happen. So yes, if in my opinion, I think Derek takes second to Samson. Doesn't mean he can't. He could beat Samson. I'm just saying that that's my prediction. Samson first, Derek second. But um, if Derek comes in the way he looked at the Olympia that he won, Samson's got his work cut out for him. Doesn't mean I don't think Samson could still beat him, but it's going to be a dogfight. That's for sure. It's going to be a fucking dogfight. And that's, as bodybuilding fans, that's what we want to see. We want to see a dogfight up there. I mean, yeah, blowouts are fun too. Somebody comes out and go, "There's your winner." But honestly, when I see two guys posing down and the judges have no idea and we're guessing and so on and so forth, like this past Olympia, we didn't know who was going to win. They had Derek and Hadi and Samson. We're like, "Fuck, who, what?" It was a mess. But then finally, when Samson pulled through, it was like, "Wow, that was a great Olympia." Anyway, those are my thoughts on the question. Those are the questions. This is Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding Anabolic Academy. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and tell all your bodybuilding friends, hey, this is this awesome fucking bodybuilding show with a guy that gives free shirts if you Instagram me. Okay, don't get crazy. I'm not giving away 10 shirts, but if you want a shirt and you Instagram me, Serious and Silliness, I'll fucking hook you up. All right, guys. Later. Peace.